All right, so let's talk about one of the biggest wealth killers in the nation, credit cards. We got to look at that because a lot of people, when they receive a credit card bill, what we're looking at first, obviously, what's the minimum payment? What, 50, 40, 100 bucks? Which sounds very easy. You know, you're going to pay it off at some point or the other. You're not looking forward to like, let's pay it off right away. You're just looking at minimum payment. And that's trick the credit card companies use on you. They show you a bill and just a minimum payment, like just measly 30 bucks, 40 bucks, who cares? And most of the people, all they do, just pay a minimum payment. Huge mistake. It is a huge mistake. We cannot possibly do that. What you have to look specifically is what your total balance is. It is extremely important. I cannot stress this enough. Credit card companies make a lot of money by you making a minimum payment. There are extra interest. You look at the interest, how much it is going to be. On a credit card, interest is about 20-25%, which is outrageous. Average U.S. Credit card debt is about 8,000 bucks, 8,000 bucks. It's insane. You're looking at yearly 20%. Let's say you got a nice credit card interest rate, 20%, right? So at $8,000, 20%, basically every year you wasted $2,000 on nothing. You're giving it away to some people who just walk around and just like, yeah, we're just going to collect a Visa, MasterCard. They're going to collect that money for nothing, and you're giving it away. That's a lot of money. We cannot do that. So the key is to make sure to see what is the total balance. How much is total balance you need to pay? If you are in a situation, let's say you're in a situation, average household credit card debt is $7,000. Let's say $8,000, right? If you got $8,000, the average U.S. Household income is about $70,000. That's about, after tax, about $4,500 a month. So clearly you cannot pay it in the first month. But you have to work as much as possible to work that off, to cut your costs any way possible to pay that off, because you cannot be making that minimum payment every time. You're going to be paying that off for the next 10, 15, 20 years. Your priority to make sure you are not slave to those credit card companies is to pay it off as soon as possible. If you can budget it, you got to make sure to budget it as much as possible and cut any costs you don't need to spend. If you like something that you want to buy and you have this massive debt, you need to cut this down. If there's some fancy thing that you need to buy, a car or something like that, at this point, this is not your priority. Your priority is to make sure you pay off that credit card. All right, so how we're going to do it? Let's start with this. So you got a minimum payment, you're looking at that, but the minimum payment probably lasts you about, 10, 15 years you have to pay on this card. So what you want to do is to make sure you pay more than the minimum payment. How to do this? Let's say your income is average income, United States, like we said, $4,600. If you take just 10% of that, that's 460 bucks, right? So let's do some basic calculation. And I got that pulled up. And I'll show you this website, and you can definitely do that. Whatever your scenario is, whatever your situation is, you can do the same thing. I'm just bringing up a couple ideas. So let's say you are an average American making, average amount of money, and then you have an average credit card debt of $8,000. So let's say the credit card company comes in and tells you need to make a payment of $155 a month, right? On that $8,000 note. So we're just looking at basic calculator here. So it will take you 10 years. Let me say that again. 10 years. 10 years it will take you to pay that card off. 10 years. And with that, easy numbers. With that, you will be paying $10,000, $10,451, $10,500 in interest. You only owe 8,000 bucks. But on top of that, after 10 years, you're going to pay extra $10,500. So if instead you're making a payment just 10%, so let's say you're paying $455, that's actually less than 10% of your income. So let's say you're making that payment. Then it will take you only 21 months. Less than 2 years it will take you to pay the same credit card. The 10%, less than 10%, will not take that much away from you. You will not notice it that much. But instead of paying $10,500 in interest, you will only pay $1,500 bucks. It's a massive difference. It's a massive difference. Look at it, 9,000 bucks. Do you want to have 9,000 bucks? What can you do with $9,000? A lot. Let's say the other way. You're only making, And so, $1,500 a month, $2,000 a month, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You're just starting out, and you have, let's say, just a basic $1,000, payment, $1,000 that you owe on a credit card, right? Okay, so let's go with that scenario. So with that, if the credit card company comes in, okay, the minimum payment is only $20. Sounds amazing, right? Only about $20. I mean, even with your income, it's really not that much. Simple payment. But again, you're going to be paying that payment for 9 years. And on top of that $1,000 after 9 years, you're going to be paying $1,168. Insane! You're basically paying double the amount just because you're doing that. Instead, if you're only paying $60, now look at it, just $60 instead of $19 or $20. Paying $60, it's going to take you only 20 months. 20 months. That's less than 2 years. And you're going to be paying only $181 in interest payment. Do you see the difference there? Even with a low income, that's a massive difference. It's almost $1,000 you just go away. So basically, for practically 1 month after taxes and everything else, you just kind of worked for nothing. Does that make any sense to you? It does not make any sense to you. That's what I'm talking about. You're giving away money to somebody for nothing. Don't do that. And a little trick, I'll show you a little trick too. Let's say you make a late payment, right? Let's say you make a late payment. The credit card companies will slap you a late fee, late charge, all that stuff. A little trick. Call the credit company and say, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I made a late payment. Can you guys waive that fee? Sure. They'll do that. They will waive your fee. You don't have to pay that fee. I mean, obviously you can't do that every single month. Yeah, I made a payment today, and then next month. But you can call a credit company and say, I'm sorry, I made a late payment. It just kind of flew out of my head. I made a late payment. Can you guys waive that fee for me, please? 99% of the time, they'll cancel it. 99% of the time. This is a little trick that you want to definitely take advantage, especially if you're on the lower end of the spectrum of income. You want to do that. So those are the tricks where you want to look at. It will not affect you that much if you just making 10%. If you can make more, 20%, 30%, and pay that credit card even further, even quicker, do it. Do it. And don't ever get in that position where you're accumulating so much debt that you're going to cripple yourself. Don't ever do that. Don't get yourself in that position. But if you are in that position, there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of us are. A lot of Americans are in that position. Not just Americans. The whole world. I mean, credit card companies making money on it. There's nothing wrong with it. Just don't end up in that situation when you know you can do it differently, and you know you can save yourself a lot of money. You know you can actually get out of that trap. That is a trap you don't want to end up in. So that's just the part of it. I mean, there's a lot of other things to cover, and I just basically just gave you just a basic couple of tips and everything. I'll post that financial calculator in there. There's a lot of them out there. I like that one. It's pretty simple to use. It's pretty easy to understand. If you guys have any questions or anything else like that, comment, let me know. I'll answer the questions. I'll try to help you out in any way possible. We'll tackle this project. If you want me to go deeper in it, we can go deeper in it. There's more things to cover as far as that goes. There's more topics we can cover. And we can go in there. Like, subscribe. We're going to keep on going. We're going to keep on making sure that you guys are going to save as much money as possible. You guys are going to make as much money as possible. And you don't waste anything. You're going to develop as a character, as a businessman, as an entrepreneur. I don't care. As whoever you want to be. You are going to be who you want to be. And we're going to make that happen. Trust me.